Let's start the conversation?
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
I like your shirt.
Oh, thanks. It's the very band.
Oh man, it's
the great band.
I know. I was just texting with Nosh, Dr. No's son.
Ah, Dr. No.
Yeah, because he must have saw on Instagram that we were in Brazil, and he sent a note saying, "Hey, you know." And so I wrote back and just said,
"Yes, the Bad Brains. The early Brazil is then 2000. Yes, it's 2009 in Brazil. It's the very play the show.
Okay, and,
yes.
and so they're an important band for you.
Yes, and on one time from the Israel Philip, the Israel and the vocalist, the vocal, and the other time is the HR. In the vocal.
Cool. I mean, they're a really important band for us. They actually gave us our very first show, like real like kind of show, like it was at the Wilson Center in Washington D.C. They invited us to play that show. Prior to that, we had always played like in our neighborhood, in the backyard, in the basement, and smaller shows. And then we started playing like some small like punk and new wave clubs. But they gave us our first show and kind of like, come on in. And then they got us our first time we played CBGB's they brought us to New York. We actually traveled in a van together, and so they're a very important band for us. But in the way that we wanted to kind of like the way that they played music really inspired us, and also the feeling and the attitude. Really, motivated us to kind of like excel as musicians and also excel as a communicator. And then we actually, their sound guy, this guy Jerry Williams, who's passed away now, rest in peace. He was their sound guy at the time, and we did one of our early demos with him in New York at 171A, which is across from Thompson Square Park. And then we did other shows together over the years, and we remained close with those guys. The only person I lost touch with was Earl. The drummer, he kind of moved away, but every now and then in touch with HR, especially Enoch Thompson is as close with HR, and we keep in touch with Daryl and Gary too. I mean, Dr. No. They're a big part of our lives, and maybe I said too much, but I saw your shirt, and so there you go. So, and actually on our new record, DC Special, which is not new anymore, it's a couple of years old, but there's a song on there. Daryl Jennifer wrote the rhythm. There's a song, he wrote the music for it, and I just added some lyrics to it, and then it's pretty much the same arrangement that he had. And then we rocked it on the record, and there you go.
It's very well. At the start is the interview. It's okay?
Yeah, man.
Yes, it's okay.
I already started it.
Yes. Olá pessoal, tudo bem? Não é a Tainá Franco que está aqui, é o Vinicius Vieira, o Fila Benário, e nós vamos fazer uma entrevista especial hoje com ele, Pete Stahl, da Banda Scream, que vai tocar no Sesc Jundiaí, que está fazendo hoje a grande apresentação no Sesc, também tocou em São Paulo, fazendo a sua primeira turnê no Brasil. Pete,
yeah,
nice to meet you.
All right.
Pete, is in the 40 years is a band is between the back and 40. This is the first time in Brazil. Why did it take so long?
That's a good question. I mean, we're not a big band, really, and we stopped playing real actively in the early 90s, and then we kind of started back more regularly in the 2000s, the aughts, we put out a record in 2011 called Complete Control. But still, by that time in our lives, we were all kind of spread apart. My brother and I were living on the West Coast, and Enoch and Kent were on the East Coast. And so we just got together when we could to play music. And touring in Europe we went back there in 2011, but we never had an offer to come here before, and we would have been more than happy to come down here and play. But this is our first time in South America and our first time in Brazil, and we're so grateful to have this chance to be here.
Yeah, I was like, do they like you in Brazil?
Well, yeah, I mean, we've only been here a few days, and it's been awesome because right now, coming from the East Coast, it's a really brutal winter, and here the rain it's like a beautiful mist on our face, and the tropical vibe, and the people are so friendly. We've been hanging out at this, we've been staying at this hotel, and near where Sesec and Paulista, near there. And there's a little bar on the corner called Sao Jorge or something like that. Sorry, I'm butchering Portuguese, but we've been hanging out there every night, and it's like I think it's like a local hang, so we feel comfortable there, and they were very welcoming, and so we've been really enjoying our time here. We rehearsed, we flew here, everybody from all over. I feel sorry, my brother and Andrew, our drummer, they flew from West Coast. Me and Enoch flew from New York. Giz, our guitar player from England, he flew from there, and so we all met here from the airport to rehearsal at Bayside Studios and in Sao Paulo, and then we rocked it out, and then we played a couple nights at Sesec there in Sao Paulo, and now we're here in Jundiaí.
Yeah, it's okay, it's Jundiaí. Currently, the Scream is promoting the new album, this is special. They recorded the C local hero Don Zatara in the inner studio.
Yeah.
Yes, the producer Ian McKay, the other legends from the hardcore with the C.
Yeah.
The last work from the Kent Stocks from the drums.
Correct.
Where's the record from the album?
Well, I mean, we had been wanting to do a new record for a long time, and we kept procrastinating about it, and like I said, it's difficult, and everybody understands this as a musician. It's hard to keep a band together. It's hard to get it together to record, all that kind of thing. So Don had told me that the studio was getting closed by the city because the building had been condemned. And so I'm like, well, we've been wanting to make a record. We better do it before it's too late. And so we started working on the music remotely. It also kind of coincided with the pandemic, which added a whole nother kind of weirdness to it. But we got together a group of songs, and then came up with a concept for the record to kind of tell the history of our band through the music and through DC music and DC music history, because there's a lot of ties with our touch points in our growth as musicians, coming from when me and my brother and I, our father was a rock and roll manager in the 60s in Washington, DC, with some local bands there, and that's when we kind of got the bug to be musicians. And then so we invited people from all different eras of Washington music history that we knew, that we were kind of touched with, and so we invited a lot of collaborators to come in and play with us, and that's the record realized that way, and luckily that idea kind of came to be, and we recorded that record right at the end of the pandemic, and it was a really beautiful thing for everyone to kind of come together. It was still the pandemic where we were kind of separated from each other. Inner Ear is a really small studio, and most people would hang outside. We had a little barbecue. We had all old friends, all people from the scene. Joe Picuri, who was one of the first sound guys that went on the road with us, and all our good friends were there, and a lot of good friends were there, and like you said, it was also Kent's last recording with us. We didn't really know that he was that sick at that point, but after we finished the recording, he was diagnosed with lung cancer, and unfortunately we weren't able to go on tour with him and promote the record with him, and so. We miss him, and we feel him on stage every day.
Incidentally, this special, the feature, the guest by the famous ex-member of the Scream, the play percussion. Tell us about this.
Oh well, I know who you're talking about, And yeah, Dave just happened to be in the area because he still, he has a home there in the DC area. And I think he had another thing happening. And I had told him, you know, like I was telling you, like we invited people to be a part of the record that were friends or people that had inspired us, and also people that had played with us, like Robert Lee Davidson, Harley, who played on Banging the Drum, and also played on No More Censorship. I asked him if he would come play with us, and he wasn't able to make it. I told Dave about it, but I didn't think he was going to come because he's so fucking busy. But he showed up, and that really meant a lot to all of us. And he hung out for a few days, and you know, he got jumped in on one song and was just hanging out, and you know, it was. I think he had a good time, and it was great for everyone.
Yes, very well. It's the new generation, the hardcore band, such in the Rise Against and the Turnstile, they decide from the screen as an influence. How do you feel about just the recognition?
Oh man, I mean, it's up to every new generation to make its own youth movement. And you know, there's so many cool new hardcore bands, you know, and there's so many great new bands in DC, New York, LA, over in Europe, everywhere, Brazil. So, I mean, I think the evolution is just a natural thing. People get inspired by bands and what the hell's going on around them, and they want to make some noise, and they do it, you know. And then, I mean, you can hear, you know, bands like Slogo or Rebelmatic, or you know, bands like that are inspired by like Bad Brains too, you know. Yes. So it's like, or Minor Threat, or you know, maybe a little bit of Scream, Black Flag, Circle Jerks, Descendants, No Effects, you know, Bad Religion, all these, you know, all these bands have had a global impact, and you know, inspire people to make music, and there's never a lack of subjects for people to sing about. So I don't know what to think about it. I'm glad that there's new hardcore constantly coming out.
Yes, this is very well.
All kinds of music. I mean, we, as you can tell from listening to a Scream record, like we love all kinds of music, like reggae, country, soul, you know, metal, whatever. And we kind of put it all into our music, and it's not, we just don't do one thing, we just be ourselves.
Yes, Scream is a first band, is the releasing album for Dischord record. It's apart from the DC hardcore scene with the Bad Brains, Minor Threat, Programming Issues, Heights of Spring, Of Embrace, and the very others. Is the testified for the birth, the emotional hardcore and the Revolution Summer movement. Mm-hmm. How do you analyze the 4 decades of bands?
Well, I mean, I think that's exactly just kind of dovetails perfectly off of what I was just saying, because Revolution Summer was younger bands in our scene that wanted to make their own thing and were still like, you know, coming into their own, and wanted to like put that flag down and make that summer the Revolution Summer, you know. And you had a real influence of like some girl bands coming up in our scene that wanted to be independent and wanted to make a statement about themselves, you know. And so Revolution Summer was also a kind of people becoming, that generation, that scene, becoming aware of the politics around them and putting it into their music, you know. I mean, we were already kind of in that mode from the very get-go. It was still Screaming and what we sing about, and you know, the topics that we kind of touch on in our songs. So we're always kind of down with being a part of activist things that we align ourselves with. Positive Force, which is a part of the Revolution Summer movement. We did a lot of shows with them, and still do to this day. In fact, they just celebrated their 40th anniversary earlier, or last year, end of last year, and Scream was not able to perform at it, but me and Enoch, we went down and played some songs there with a bunch of other, you know, old DC bands and new bands as well. So Positive Force is still really important in our local scene in DC.
You haven't played for the songs, the Fumble album. It's a long time. Why?
Well, that's
Fumble it's
your favorite.
Yeah, it's my favorite album.
Well,
I like your other albums too, but the Fumble is my favorite album.
You know what? Sometimes we do. I'll be honest with you. We haven't been playing any songs from that record on this little leg. There's actually a really practical reason why we sometimes don't. We usually travel, we don't have any guitar techs or anything. Some of the songs on Fumble are different tunings. And so you need to have another guitar and a different tuning. You have to have a guitar tech to be there to help with that. So, and we like to just pow through the set. So if we add song, like we used to play Caffeine Dream a lot. And
Caffeine Dream is my favorite song.
You're a coffee guy?
Yes, the Caffeine Dreams is my favorite song.
Okay, man, I'll see what I can do. I'll talk to the guy. But yeah, so that's in a different tuning than all the other songs. So you know, I guess most people, we get the vibe, want to hear songs from the first and second record.
Yes.
You know, Still Screaming and This Side Up and Banging a Drum.
Yes.
So we occasionally throw a few songs from Fumble in there, but it's not part of our regular repertoire live, and we kind of play mostly the older stuff. And then for us as a band, we want to play the new stuff because it's what we're about now. And so DC Special is what we've been focusing on, but sometimes we throw in some Fumble in there.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, my friends. Thank you for your time. I see you at the concert.
You got it, brother. Okay.
Pessoal, esse foi Francamente ao lado de Pete Stahl e Scream.